It's a terrifying thought, but our kids are going to become the next generation of drivers. As parents, how do we make sure that they are safe and well educated? Today on the Dodge Garage Download, I'm proud to welcome the safe driving coach, Todd Avery, and he's got tips for parents of new drivers. Hi, Todd. Good morning.
Good morning, Hammer. How are you, buddy?
And I'm fantastic. Are you kidding me? I know we're recording this on a morning. I got my fake Yeti full of coffee and ready to go, man. But I appreciate you getting up again early. We're recording this early morning so we can get this thing done. I know you're a busy guy, but you are doing things that parents are terrified of. I'm terrified of, and my kid's only 13. He's not ready to go driving just yet. But
Right.
Tell us, before we even get talking about that, I'd kind of like to establish your background because you got into a teen driving school situation in a similar way to the way that I did.
Yeah. So, quick introduction: Todd Avery, safe driving coach. Where I teach and coach students to be three things: a safe, aware, responsible driver. So, owning a driving school was not what I set out to have a goal. I have a love for cars. I'm a car guy, been a car guy my whole life. We have a lot of similarities. We've raced before. I've been on the racetrack. I used to sell automotive products on live television, but for the past 15 years, I've been a high-speed driving instructor. So I teach people how to drive the race cars and sports cars in a racetrack. And that was my passion. I love sitting in the passenger seat, showing people how to drive, and also being in the driver's seat, racing. And then like I said, I fell into this role. I was working at a car dealership, helping my buddy run a service department, and one of our clients owned a driving school. So I struck up a conversation with him, and I said, "Oh, I'm a performance driving coach." He's, "Oh, we're always looking for instructors." So I finally found something that I truly love to do. And being an entrepreneur, I'm like, okay, I got to put my time in, and when the time is ready, I'll own my own driving school. So here I am. I've been in the business 4 years, on my own for 2. And truly love it. So I love working with my students and also the parents as well.
When you say driving school, I know a lot of folks, got to do their driver's ed back when we were in high school. Is it that, or does your system go further into more car control skills because of your motorsports background?
So it comes down to being a defensive driver. So what I coach is defensive driving. To always expect the unexpected. There's a lot of great driving schools that are out there. There's a lot of great instructors that are out there also. But what I found in the business is that a lot of instructors just kind of sit in that passenger seat and just they're kind of along for the ride. Yeah, turn right, turn left. That's not where I'm coming from. I pride myself in the work that I do. That literally, it's going to sound corny. I believe that I'm saving lives
Oh, no,
because I've
I'm with you 100%. I mean, I've come through as an instructor on several of the performance driving program, safe driving programs, some teen safe driving programs as well. And you're 100% right. One of the programs that, not to hijack you, but one of the programs that I used to be involved with was started because the guy's daughter's best friend, follow me on that one, unfortunately, she made a mistake and she overcorrected when she dropped 2 wheels off and crashed the car, and she was killed in the accident. And
oh
from there, it's a terrible tragedy. You hear those stories so often. And that's when it was my buddy Carl, and Carl said, we've got to do something about this. And so we got a bunch of racers together and started a program that probably, gosh, I bet you that program ran for a decade. I mean, it had a pretty good run. It was great, but you absolutely are saving lives. That's not corny at all.
Yeah. So, and I've had parents reach out to me, a couple of months, even a year later, whether it's a text or a call or an email. I said, "Todd, I got to be honest with you. My daughter had a situation with a deer, right? It came running out of nowhere, but because you coached her to always expect the unexpected, she got on the brakes. She knew what she did, what she had to do. Or, if it was raining out and they experienced hydroplaning and they were able to control the car. So not only do I coach the students, but I also coach the parents. And one of the things that I think is really frustrating as a parent is how do you teach your teens how to drive? And I created, and I'm going to segue right into that. I've created a series of coaching videos for parents, specifically called Parents Survival Guide for Teen Driving. Makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
straightforward. And Lord knows, I mean, that's like the worst thing you can do. My son plays baseball, and he's doing it fairly. He's playing travel ball, fairly high level. I'm here to tell you, I learned a long time ago. Shut your mouth, John. Don't try to teach your kid baseball. That's what the coaches are for. That way, we don't have that strife, because it can be really frustrating if you aren't saying, as the parent, if you're not saying the right thing to your kid, and that causes all kinds of conflict. I'm sure you've seen it.
Look, all parents are good at being parents for the most part, but not all parents are good teachers or good coaches. So after each lesson with my students, I would always go in and do what I would call a quick little download session, 4 or 5 minutes. Here's what we went over. Here's what's good. Here's what's not good. But then here's moms and dads. Here's what you can do in the car with your teens to help you help them. And everyone was like, well, what do I do? And I would always tell them that as a parent, we're trained to tell our kids what to do in regards to driving. Well, didn't you see the stop sign? Didn't you see the traffic light? But you want to reverse that role and become a coach. And by asking questions, how far down the road are you looking? What are the signs telling you? What's the color of the car behind you? And by asking those questions, it does many things. One, it gives you as a parent the comfort level to see what your teen is processing. And by them being verbal, they're now processing it and storing it in their brain because they're saying it out loud. And then the best question I tell my parents is, what else? Because now that teen driver is thinking, okay, what else am I missing? What else is out there? So yeah, it's you have anxiety as a parent, because think about it. You're as a parent, we're always in control. We know what we're doing. We're going to go out there. We're going to do this, whatever. And then we look over and we're like, oh my God, he or she was like 16 years ago, I gave birth. And that's what they see. They see a little baby. And then they're sitting next to him, or her rather. And now I have an instructor's brake in my car. It's a driving school car. Most parents don't have a brake, but they have that emergency brake, or they hold onto the top like, oh my God, what are you doing? Slow down.
Right.
Right. So the videos are designed specifically for the moms and dads of new teen drivers.
One thing that Dodge is really proud of is technology in our cars. And we've gone to, really great lengths to have, it started off with, just having good mirrors and then backup sensors. Now, of course, backup cameras and lane departure warnings and adaptive cruise controls. How does that new technology play into what you're dealing with students, with young drivers?
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of technology. I think technology is awesome. However, what happens when technology fails you? So I'm old school. Just don't call me old, right? So if I'm making a lane change, I want to look. I want to make sure that no one's in my mirror, no one's in my blind spot. Blind spot monitors, the little detectors in the mirrors, the little yellow lights that beep, or the red lights that come on, or the beeping signals. Oh my God, don't move over. Technology is awesome, but you have to have that awareness. So now every car that's manufactured has a backup camera. It's mandated, it's federal. You have to have a backup camera. If you're backing up and you're looking in front of you, how do you know what you're going to see? You don't. So again, I explain this to not only the students, but also the parents. When you're backing up, you got to look around. You have to know what's going on, because the camera is only going to show you but so much. And the idea is, if you don't know what's going on around you, shame on you. It's awareness. And new drivers just don't know that. So we as parents, we got to help them.
No doubt about it. You raise really good points, and I like the way that you ask the questions of the students. You're really challenging them to think. You're not telling them. I mean, you are telling them, but the approach is, it makes them, they're learning, right? Because they're actually saying, well, gee, that's a really good idea. And I think all of us as parents could certainly use that advice as well. Again, I mean, my son's not quite there to driver's ed yet, although he's been driving carts since he was 8. So I mean, he's 13 now. So I mean,
Okay.
5 years of driving carts. But that's completely different, and that actually kind of scares me, because I wonder if that means he's going to be is he going to be too cocky, too confident, because he's good at speed on a cart, on a track, on a closed course. does that mean he's going to be more aggressive on the street?
I would rather have two different types of students. One, take your son, for example. So he's been driving go-karts for a long time. He's going to have the physical part and the awareness of steering and turning. I can build on that and then talk about a lot of the other things that he hasn't ever used, which would be his rear view mirror or his side view mirrors. So that's one type of student. The other type of student that I like is one that has zero experience.
Yeah.
Get me the ones that they're looking at, like which one's the brake pedal, which one's the gas pedal. You mean the turn signal turns off automatically after I turn? Give me that student, because I can mold them and fill their brains with information to help them, as opposed to taking the student that's got 50 hours under his belt. He's driving with the one hand, he's got the gangster lean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
tunes are up,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, those are habits that are hard to break. So parents always ask me, Todd, my son just got his permit now. He's not eligible for 6 months. We're going to do lessons in like 5 months. I'm like, if it were me, I'd rather get them early, because we can instill good driving habits with them at the onset of learning how to drive.
I got two quick things before I get you on out of here.
Sure.
Number one, I have to say that maybe this is more of a statement than anything, although you've probably had some sort of replies to this. It sounds like the approach that you have talking with parents is almost a refresher course for them as well. Yes?
100%. Right now, again, my role is not to tell the parents how to drive. They're already there. They have their habits, good, bad, or indifferent. What that does is it kind of brings them back to reality when they first started to drive, of good driving habits. By the way, nobody stops at stop signs. They just don't.
Right.
Okay? My students, we stop at stop signs. Well, my dad doesn't. Well, okay, that's on dad. Dad's got his license. He's got 25, 30 years of driving. We as new students, we got to make sure we stop and look.
Okay. Then finally, before you're out of here, if you could give parents advice, one piece of advice, what would that one piece of advice be for those of us parents that have new drivers in the house?
One piece of advice, the best word, patience. You have to have patience. This role that you take on as a driving coach, whether you're a parent, a mom, a dad, grandparent, aunt, uncle, whatever, you have to have patience. You have to realize that that teen driver sitting next to you doesn't know anything about driving. They think they do because they're teens, and all teens think they know everything. But if you're able to have that, calm, soothing environment, then things will work out. If there's screaming and there's hollering and there's fighting and there's bickering, it's not going to work out. So one word is patience. Almost like you become Zen-like, right?
Todd Avery is the safe driving coach. Todd, if we want to certainly those videos that you got for parents, that sounds almost as important as the ones that you've done and the stuff you've done for the kids. How do we come track that stuff down and see more of that?
Yeah, so I've created a bunch of different series in regards to parents to help them specifically. So if you go to safedrivingcoach.net, you can sign up. It's a quick email. You have access to, I have 5 free tips that you can get for starting with new drivers. I also offer a 15-list checklist of what you should be doing in the car with your new driver. And then ultimately, I have the videos that are designed specifically for the parents, and they kind of run through the gamut, and ultimately to kind of wrap things up, as a parent, before they get their driver's license, moms and dads, you want to ask yourself one question. Do you as a parent feel that your son or daughter is ready to be driving on the roads by themselves? And if there's a hesitation where you think, oh, well, maybe they just need some more parking, then that hesitation is your answer.
Todd Avery, thank you, my friend. Great knowledge, awesome stuff, and it's been a real pleasure to have you here on the Dodge Garage Download.
John, my pleasure. Thanks for asking me. It's a great opportunity. And remember, guys, be safe, be aware, be responsible. SafeDrivingCoach.net. Have a great day.
Talking with Todd really made me think about some things that I haven't thought about in a long time. Hopefully it did it for you as well. All right, you guys. Hey, listen, we're out of here. We're out of time. Can't wait to see you again next time as we talk more stuff about, the lifestyle of driving. the cars that we all love and the things that we can do to really enjoy them more. That's what we do right here on the Dodge Garage Download. I'm John Hammer, and I'll see you next time.